Let's do this. Let's do this. Australia. The Boring Show, Episode 2. I'll make my debut in The Boring Show, Episode 2. You call me Australian Thrill, because I'm from Australia. I'm from Sydney, Australia. But you call me Australian Thrill. I'm talking about Australia. The outback way of speaking English, mates. Australia. Australia. You gotta love Australia. So right now, I'm gonna tell you everything I know about Australia. Y'all back way speaking English, mates. So Australia is a country and a continent. 2 in 1, mates. It's a big country out here in the Pacific side of the world, mates. A lot of countries out here in the close to us or north to us in the Australian regions, mates. So in Australia, you got a country a little bit close to us now called New Zealand, mates. New Zealand, close to Australia. You got Guam, a small country a little bit north of us, U.S. territorial country, Guam. You got the Philippines out here, mates. You got Malaysia out here, mates. All these countries out here, mates, in Australia, close to Australia, but up north, let's go to the Asian regions, mates. You got China out there, Japan, mates. North Korea, mates. South Korea, mates. Hong Kong, China, mates. Australia. Let's talk about Australia. The Prime Minister of Australia, right? Scott Morrison, one of the best we ever had, mates. He's an outback of Australia. I'm an outback in Australia. He's one of the best Prime Ministers we ever had in Australia, mates. Scott Morrison. Australia. There's a lot of stuff here doing in Australia, mates. Big time cities out here in Australia. Got Sydney, Australia, Melbourne, Australia, Perth, Australia, Queensland, Australia. All these countries and cities out here close to us, but the cities I just mentioned here in Australia, some of the biggest and fun ones living too, mates, in Australia. What else here doing in Australia? Yachtback. And that's my favorite part of Australia, the Yachtback, mates, and Yachtback. Go with your friends out there, drive around the Outback and party out there with your friends, see kangaroos out there, mates. But here's what I do with kangaroos, man. I pet kangaroos, I feed kangaroos, mates. But I wouldn't recommend one of you guys to pet a kangaroo. That's very dangerous out there, mates. So I pet a kangaroo, they do nothing to be, mates. And I feed kangaroos, they do nothing to be, mates. The kangaroos, they love me, mates, in Australia. Kangaroos, the animal of Australia, live in the outback. Gotta love your Australian kangaroos and the pets out there in Australia, mates. A lot of dogs and wild ones out there in Australia, mates. You gotta watch out. Be careful out here in Australia. It's very dangerous in the outback, mates. Don't mess around the outbacks in Australia. Gotta love Australia. Our favorite food here in Australia, pigs in the blankets, all kinds of food and dishes out here in Australia. A lot of places to go in Australia, mountains and in the outback region of the desert. You climb the mountains here in Australia. A lot of attractions here in Australia. Sydney, Australia, the soap opera house in Australia. Go watch a big time production play here in Australia. Let's do some shouts here in Australia, mates. Some people ripping Australia. Probably don't know about, mates, but it's from Australia. Simon Cowell, Australia. He's a very good Australian production guy. What Simon Cowell does. Australia. He the X Factor, American Idol, mates, Australia. He does always good time with Australia. Those one of my favorite actors right now from Australia. Right now, she's in Fear the Walking Dead, Australia. She's a show, right, mates, called CW, called The 100. She played Commander Alexa. Her name is Alicia Debnam Carey, mates, in Australia, from Australia. It's a good time to be alive, mates, doing all these shows. The models of Australia, the Australian models, mates, they go around the whole world doing worldwide stuff, mates, in Australia. The outback way of speaking English, mates, in Australia. kinds of stuff here in Australia. Who else I admire here in Australia or from Australia? The outback way you speak English, mates. You gotta love Australia. Gotta love all the people here in Australia, right? So, right now going through coronavirus in Australia. It's taking a toll on the whole world, mates, in Australia. Me, I'll mention myself, I'll mention my name again. I'm Australian Thrill, mates from Australia. In Outback, Australia. The Outback way you speak English, mates, Australia. You gotta do good stuff in Australia, right? So, you gotta love Australia. Australia. This is the boring show episode 2. One little quick episode, mates. The Outback way you speak English about Australia. Just wanna get this quick out there, mates. Australia. Australia, oh Australia. Aussies, Australia. Aussies all over the world in Australia. Aussies. Australia, mates. Australian Outback Thrill here signing out from Australia. Love Australia. Love the whole world. The whole world loves Australia. Australians love you. Australians love me. Australians love the whole world, mates. From Australia. Doing Australia stuff, mates. Australia.